Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown. This will be my official Round 1 playoff preview for the Edmonton Oilers and Los Angeles Kings, meeting for the fourth straight season. You have to think LA Kings fans, the LA Kings themselves, finally clamoring for a first round victory, but Edmonton Oilers fans here in Oil Country, we want to see the continued dominance of our team taking down LA for the fourth straight time. Over the past 3 seasons, the Oilers taking down the Kings in 7 games, then 6 games, then 5 games. The natural progression would be for this series to be a series sweep for the Edmonton Oilers, but I don't think, well, there may be some people out there, but I don't think many people would be predicting that. I'll share my prediction shortly, but I think it's going to be quite a battle this year between the Oilers and Kings. Both teams certainly capable of winning the series, but I still have continued faith in my team that they are going to get the job done, getting guys back. Obviously, like Leon Draisaitl, more on him in a moment. We're going to get our first look at Trent Frederick. Guys like Evander Kane are expected to come back. Zach Hyman, Jake Wallman. So the Oilers are going to be, hopefully at least, close to their best for round 1. They will be without Matthias Ekholm. As we know, he is the only guaranteed guy missing round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. Some guys remain questionable for game 1. Over the next couple days, we're going to learn more as to who will be officially in the lineup for round 1. Let's wait and see what happens, who's healthy, who's not, and what decisions ultimately head coach Chris Knobloch and the coaching staff make for the Edmonton Oilers in the days to come. Let's start with the round 1 schedule for the Edmonton Oilers and LA Kings. Game 1 kicking off on April 21st in Los Angeles at 8 p.m. Mountain. Game 2, April 23rd in LA, 8 p.m. Game 3 switching to the Rogers Place on April 25th, 8 p.m. as well. Game 4, April 27th, Rogers Place, a little bit earlier, 7:30 p.m. Mountain. Game 5, if necessary, switches back to LA. Game 6, back to Edmonton on May 1st. And Game 7, if we get there, May 3rd, back in Los Angeles. So that's our schedule for round 1. Just before I get into the rest of the playoff preview, want to quickly mention here, of course, Leon Draisaitl is the Rocket Richard Trophy winner for the 2024-2025 NHL season. Leon Draisaitl led the league with 52 goals, 54 assists, 106 points in just 71 games played. He becomes the second Oilers player to win the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy since it was first awarded in 1998-1999, joining Connor McDavid, who won it in 2022-2023. Definitely an incredible achievement for Leon, especially with everything he had to go through this year, closing it out with injuries, but I think Leon's going to come back here in Game 1 and have another incredible playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. So for the rest of my playoff preview, I'm going to replay something that I recorded last night with the Heavy Hockey crew over on Oilers Live. I was joined by my buddies over there, Michael and Ryan. Here's a clip from our playoff preview last night. I put together this, what I think could be the opening game lineup here for the Edmonton Oilers against the LA Kings on Monday. So I had a top line of Zach Hyman, Connor McDavid, and Connor Brown, a second line of Vasily Podkolzin, Leon Draisaitl, and Victor Arvidsson. And then I have Trent Frederick coming back with Nuge and Skinner on the third line, and Evander Kane starting on the fourth line with Adam Henrique and Corey Perry. On defense, Jake Wallman and Evan Bouchard, Darnell Nurse and Ty Emberson, Brett Kulak and John Klingberg, and Stuart Skinner as the Game 1 starter. So my kind of thoughts with this were, I think they want to get McDavid and Hyman back together, but they really I think they like the chemistry they've had with Connor Brown playing with those guys, and with Connor McDavid and Jeff Skinner as of late, but I can't see Skinner staying up there. I think they want to get Zach Hyman back up with Connor McDavid, so I think Connor Brown will get the advantage at least early and stay up there. We know Draisaitl and Podkolzin like playing together, and they were getting some good chemistry as of late with Victor Arvidsson. Trent Frederick, I think, may eventually get a shot in the top 6, but with him just coming back and starting now, I think the third line's a safer place for him to start. Nuge is a good third line center there. Jeff Skinner, you have a guy that's going right now. So that was kind of my thoughts with that one. And we've talked about it on the podcast quite a bit. We don't know what we're going to get from Evander Kane. So probably starting him on the fourth line, at least for a few games, and then seeing how he looks. And then you could potentially move him up higher if he looks like he's going. Have him on the safe line, I think, with Adam Henrique and Corey Perry. With no Matthias Ekholm in round one, Wallman and Bouchard, I think, are our top pairing. Nurse and Emberson, I kind of went back and forth on this one, but I just kind of settled on them. I thought maybe Nurse and Kulak together as a second pairing, but I think if you have Kulak in the third pairing, it balances things out a bit more, gives you somebody strong in each pairing. And I think John Klingberg is going to get the call over Troy Stetcher, but probably on a short leash. If Klingberg looks like he's struggling, Troy Stetcher, I think, could easily take that spot over in the third pairing. And I think right now, Stuart Skinner is your game one starter. So
yeah, I think you hit it on the head, right? Like Frederick, I mean, he came out. He actually, like, for the limited time that he played, he looked like he could really do, like, really help this team in a number of different areas. I kind of, like, my gut's telling me this this Brown, Skinner, McDavid line we're going to see go into the playoffs. Like, I don't know for how long. I mean, it's that's one of those lines that as soon as it looks like it's not producing, it changes really quick. That's my only fear. So hopefully it starts producing right away. But they had some good chemistry. I love it. The only guy that really, I mean, Janmark was just such what a season for that guy. Corey Perry ends up with 19 goals, which is absolutely great.
A little disappointed. I wanted him to hit 20. But
oh yeah, I think we all did, right? Like that was but I mean, did you have him for 19? I mean, I know I didn't.
No.
Right? And that's one of those things where just one shy of Nuge, who just got 20 goals, right? Like, so anyway, all of those things, I think from a lineup perspective, I mean, I like that McDavid, Brown, Skinner line. How you put the big question mark for me is where you put Podkolzin. What's the word on Hyman? Is he going to be back for game one?
I believe so. And I was building that lineup on the assumption that Matthias Ekholm is the only one still out.
I guess the biggest question is who sits out for the Oilers, right? Like who's going to sit out? And you know what, Jack and Louis talked about that on the broadcast last night, right? Like this is, the last few games have been a bit of an audition. Some guys have shown up. Some guys like Janmark, I'd be all right if they sat him, right? Like the biggest challenge with Janmark is he plays well on the PK, right? But you're playing a team like LA. I mean, their PK is not, or their power play is not exactly, although I think it's been good as of late. I think they had a good power play in the last stretch. I'd have to look that up specifically. Anyway, Connor, I wouldn't mind seeing the Connors together with Jeff Skinner as we saw. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. That's kind of the big. That's why this is such a hard thing, right? I think Skinner is going to get the start, but outside of that, I have no clue how this lineup's going to look, and we haven't seen the lineup in 16, 17 games, right? If Hyman's in, where does you can't put Hyman on the third line.
They were earlier in the year for a while, so they absolutely could.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like this is a team of guys that, you could go down about 6 or 7 deep and say, do you really want to put that guy on the third line? Right. You know what I mean? And like Podkolzin is, he might not have scored a lot of goals, but he does a lot of good things well, right? Like puck retrieval, good, good tough guy, like getting into the corners, hitting guys. I think he led the team in hits. I don't think it was even close. He does all those things really well. And Knobloch seems to have wanted to play him, top 6 most of the season, right? Do you see him playing third line? Right? Like maybe when you get into the playoffs, maybe he plays third line.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just depends when the games start, like what's clicking, what's not clicking. Because I mean, you don't have a lot of time to slowly work guys in, right? I mean, you got to win these hockey games. So if someone's not performing, they got to come out or move down someone else. Like I said, I have Evander Kane starting on the fourth line, but if he comes out gangbusters and gets a goal in game one or something, then yeah, he probably pushes. I had Podkolzin on my second line. Maybe he pushes Podkolzin down, or Frederick goes up. I mean, like there's so many, like it's anybody's guess, really. I mean, I just put this together as something I thought might work, but come game one, injury wise, chemistry wise, like things could change so quickly. But
would you put in Derek Ryan over Janmark at any point?
For me, if you need a right-handed center that can win you some draws, then that's the only reason to put Derek Ryan in at this point.
But what's the, like, outside of the PK, right? If you need a guy, one single extra guy to make your PK that much better, is Janmark worth that? Like, did he drive up the PK numbers all season? Is it on his shoulders that the PK operates?
It's one of those things that's really tough to pinpoint. Like the numbers only tell you so much. It's what he does well. Like it's definitely his biggest strength. And there's really not a lot of other penalty kill forwards on the roster this year. Hyman could do it, but I don't think they want to ask that of him because they want to put his efforts more into goal scoring, right? They want him for 5-on-5 play, so they've been reducing his ice time that way by not having him on the PK this year. But so like you got Podkolzin that can do it. I don't know how good he's been, but he's been doing it. Like just Janmark and Brown as a duo, though. I think you can make a strong case that they're the best PK duo we have. Like they actually create a lot of shorthanded chances against. And they do a lot of good
Brown's
things.
Brown's been showing that he can play with whoever. Like he's been saddled with Janmark for a while. As soon as he's, like the Janmark hasn't done him any favors, right? He gets put up with McDavid and he's scoring goals. In fact, he was scoring at a better clip than Hyman scoring goals, right? Like maybe the Connor Brown, Connor McDavid chemistry from junior has come back. Maybe that's there, right? In fact, Jeff Skinner and Connor Brown seem to have a little bit of chemistry as well. And then from a PK perspective, I don't know. Like, do they really feed off each other that well? That it's like you said, it's hard to pinpoint.
Yeah, I feel like they do, but I think you're right on Brownie. Like he can play up and down the lineup, and it might be similar to last year where they started the playoffs with Henrique, McDavid, and Hyman as a line, and that didn't last very long, right? So it could be a very similar situation. Now, like I put together like 4 different line combos, and I could have probably done 5 or 6 different ones that are all plausible, right?
Yeah.
I just couldn't decide on one. That was my thing that was happening with me when I was trying to prep for this. What I think will happen and what I want to happen are 2 very different things. What I think will happen is I think we'll start with Skinner, McDavid, and Brown because they've been playing well lately, and why it don't fix what is not broken right now. And then Draisaitl's going to come back, and he's been stuck between Podkolzin and Arvidsson all season long, so I don't see why they're going to break that up. Especially the Podkolzin and Arvidsson winger duo, that's been a thing most of the season. Third line is where it starts to get interesting. Again, I don't know if Frederick's going to be ready for game 1. I don't know if Kane's going to be ready for game 1. Well, Kane says he's ready for game 1, but he hasn't been given medical clearance yet, from what I understand. So, unless we hear an announcement between now and Monday, which we could, I have to go on the assumption that Kane's not in. So, I don't know. Frederick might not be in either, but for this activity, we're going under the assumption that they're both healthy and available. I go with one of those two guys on the third line at left wing, and my preference would be for Frederick. Then I'd put Nuge in the middle, and then who you got? Hyman. Hyman goes on. He's not going any lower than the third line, right? So
well, and that's not a bad, like, if you put Hyman on the third line, that includes Nuge and Frederick. Is that
some would argue that's a top six line, right?
Is that
some would argue that's a second line.
Exactly. On any other team.
I'm fine with having two second lines.
Yeah.
I think that's the goal from Stan Bowman's perspective, right? Like the roster is deep enough where we could have two second lines if deployed properly. And then your fourth line, if Kane's available, I have a hard time seeing him not be in the lineup. But this is where it's difficult for me, is I also think that Janmark is the only guy that could come out because Kane plays left wing. Janmark is also playing left wing. Janmark does all the good things on the PK, and the coach loves him. And he's managed to play every game except for the few he missed with injuries, despite him only scoring one goal with his hockey stick this year into an empty net. So what decision do you go with on the fourth line? Do you go Kane or do you go Janmark? The $1 million question. I think coaches I just said that it's hard to see Kane not getting in, but I'd be tempted to go Janmark as far as to what Janmark or what Knobloch might do. I'm talking about both sides of my mouth because it's so difficult to make the decision. But then Rico and Perry on the fourth line anchoring that. So I think that's what probably will happen. What I want to happen, I still like Jeff Skinner with McDavid. I think that's the best place for him. Him and Skinner and Draisaitl doesn't work, and I don't like Skinner in the bottom six. So I like Skinner and McDavid together.
Agreed.
As for the right winger, maybe Dry with McDavid and Skinner works, but I think Hyman up there works. I think Brown up there works. Any of the three really doesn't matter to me. Any one of them will work. I'm not in love with the idea of Podkolzin on the second line, and I think him and Arvidsson would be a good set of third line wingers based on Arvidsson's performance this season. I just don't know who you put up there on the second line with Leon in that case. Is it Frederick? I've been quite open about not thinking Frederick's a top six winger, and I don't want him playing in the top six, especially not after being off this long with the high ankle sprain. So, and I don't think he and Kane have very good chemistry. Kane's always brought Leon down, and Kane had his best success playing with McDavid, right? So I think it's just awkward. Like, I think no matter what, if you split Connor and Leon, Leon's going to have some awkward wingers that aren't going to be great for him, which sucks, but is what it is. And I think it'd be good to have the Rico, Brown, and Janmark line back together. And I think it'll happen at some point. We'll see. So yeah, I don't know. I want a lot of different things to happen, but so this is why I wasn't quite set, right? Like, there's a billion different permutations and combinations that could all work, right? We got 7 different guys that can play center, and lots of guys that can play top 6 or bottom 6. It's a pretty versatile lineup. So honestly, like, we make a lot of what the lines can and should be, but I don't think it matters. There's a lot of different combos that'll work.
Yeah. Max Jones made a case, right? Yeah. Like
I didn't. Not in my eyes.
No, well, of course not. Realist Ryan.
Yeah. Well, I had him out of this lineup, so
I don't think. I don't have him in the lineup, but he made a case.
I think he's someone who gets in if there's injuries or if it's looking like they're getting beat up a lot. You need to add some more toughness or something, and maybe Frederick and Kane aren't in. Then maybe that's where Max Jones gets inserted, but I don't think he's a guy that's in the regular rotation right off the bat for sure. So the second part I had was, aside from Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, which player do you think will have the biggest impact on the series for the Edmonton Oilers? I'll start with mine. It's going to be a player that clearly Lotzie doesn't like, Trent Frederick. I think an offense physicality mix, pending UFA motivation there for Trent Frederick. I think he's going to be motivated to come in and have a strong Stanley Cup playoffs, like he's playing for a contract next season. the Edmonton Oilers want to see what he can do. And like I said, an offense physicality mix that I really like. So we'll see if I'm wrong on this one, but I think aside from McDavid or Draisaitl, Trent Frederic could be one of those guys that's a difference maker for the Oilers. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll go with this one. Yeah, it's just too many question marks with Frederic, just like Kane for me. So, I hope one of them can make a real big impact on this team going for it. But I talked about him down the stretch. He was great, scoring goals. He was an impact maker last year. I think Connor Brown's the guy. Again, I think he's gonna, just the way he's played down the stretch. I think he's the guy for me, Connor Brown. Lotsy?
For me, the loss of Matthias Ekholm is huge. So for me, it's about who's going to step up and fill that void. There's only two options. I mean, Jake Wallman is the guy they acquired just in case, right? And they got him predominantly to play the right side because that's where the hole on the roster was. But Bowman did have the foresight to get a lefty just in case something happened to one of the big three lefties, which are Ekholm, Nurse, and Kulak. And here we are. Something's happened to Ekholm. And now we're in a situation where we need somebody. And I think Jake Wallman's the guy to step up and do that now. I don't know what his health status is. And Michael's saying that he might be iffy to start the series. But either way, Darnell Nurse is going to be is someone that's going to need to be relied upon as well. So I think I'll say Wallman for my answer, but Nurse would be my second choice.
All right. Guys, before we go, let's get this bracket off the screen here. Just quickly, I'm going to say Oilers in 7. Lotsy?
Y'all are going to hate me for this.
Yeah.
LA Kings
in
6.
All right. Patrick?
I'm going the good guys in 6, Oilers in 6.
All right. That's that. We're going to change this up here, and we're going to stop sharing that. I'll get that done. We'll get the offline. We'll finish off the bracket and see how we do. All right, guys. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Now we got so impact player. Patrick, you had Frederic. Lotsy, you had Wallman. And Nurse with honorable mention. I had Connor Brown. Good. What's next?
Well, to wrap up here, I was just going to say impact player for the LA Kings, and my pick was Adrian Kempe. He always seems to show up in the series against the Edmonton Oilers. He's obviously one of the best LA Kings. So, yeah, my pick for the biggest impact player from the Kings was Adrian Kempe.
Not a bad choice. Lotsy, you want me to go, or you? I'll just quickly say, I'll just say Fogle for me. I mean, playing his old team, he's going to be motivated. He was a thorn in the Oilers' side the other night. He's a guy you love or hate depending on what streak he's on. Is he on the bad streak or is he on the good one? If he gets good, he'll be an impact player.
So for me, I think the obvious one is Darcy Kemper. Like the goaltending for the Kings is going to be vital. They're a defense first team. They struggle to score goals, and they're going to need their goaltending to be as good as it was in the regular season. But I'm going to go with the not obvious answer here, and that is Andrei Kuzmenko. You might be laughing at that just because of how ineffective he was as a Canuck and as a Flame, and even for a little bit as a Flyer this season. But he's got 17 points in 21 games since he's come to the Kings, and he's been a really good addition on that line with Kopitar and Kempe. I think he's going to be a problem in these playoffs. And he's been on their power play as well. He's made their power play a lot better. That's why it's been so good down the stretch, because they got Kuzmenko now. So they just got a big upgrade in skill. So, yeah, I think Kuzmenko is the X factor for the Kings.
Well, those are my thoughts, guys. Oilers in 6 over the LA Kings. Let me know your thoughts and predictions for the series in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.